Whoa there, Space Cowboy. Brokeback Bebop is a podcast with explicit content intended only for mature bounty hunters. Listener discretion is advised. Listen to all 40 steamy sessions of the show right now by supporting Brokeback Bebop at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay.
3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Did you just hold up 2 fingers for 3?
I did. 3. Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to the second ever installment of Brokeback Bebop, the podcast with really the most unfortunate title.
Bow now, bow now, down now.
Are you gonna do that every time?
No. Yeah, with the dance.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's go right into it. How you doing, Steven? How you doing,
I'm
buddy?
good. How are you, Zach?
I'm good. How are you enjoying this new venture so far?
I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, this is a cool idea.
Yeah. I feel like between the two of us, you're definitely the aficionado when it comes to things outside
So it's
of
nice
the
to
screen
feel
going
on the other side of things.
Well, yeah, it's good, you know. I really only usually get to rant to Danny about these anime things.
Sure.
So now I get to tell you about them.
Well, I'm glad we're doing this. We're talking about another episode of Cowboy Bebop. We're talking about the second episode of Cowboy Bebop. It's called The Session. The session of
yeah.
Cowboy Bebop.
Session
it's called
2.
Stray Dog Strut. It was storyboarded again by Shinichiro Watanabe. It was directed by Ikuro Sato. And it was written by Michiko Yokote.
Nice. Dream Team.
Sure. It originally aired in Japan on October 31st, 1998, and in the US, along with the first episode, it aired on September 3rd, 2001.
Nice. So they did a twofer on day one.
Do you have anything that you want to bring up from this episode? Anything that stands up as like the defining characteristics of this episode in the Cowboy Bebop lore?
This is the introduction to Ein, which is great.
We don't get the name, do we?
No, we don't yet. Not yet. But we meet the character, the Corgi, the tech dog, who, you know, we'll learn a little bit more about as the show goes on. But
Cool.
Ein's a great addition to the Bebop, and it kind of shows that this crew's willing to take in somebody if they see fit.
Which seems like it'll be happening more often. Are they going to go on little missions where they meet their other sidekicks and they join along?
I believe the next episode is where we add the next permanent member of the Bebop.
I mentioned it for a second last week, but this show does, obviously it's way before, but it kind of has some Mandalorian vibes. The Mandalorian is kind of like that too.
Yeah, I think
just
they're
'cause
both
got
about
Western
space
vibes.
bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did write down some trivia this week.
Oh, good. I've
I
got
wrote down
two for
two
you.
little questions. I'm sure they're going to be really easy for you. I'll give you the first one. What's the biggest animal that runs out of the shop after the gunshot goes off?
It's either the emu or the horse.
I didn't see the horse. I wrote down ostrich, so emu.
Okay, so I'll go with the emu.
I didn't see the horse. It might have been the tallest, at least. Maybe not the biggest by mass.
I think the emu.
I did
is
weigh
the
most
biggest.
of the animals. I didn't
Well,
get a
good. I
hold of the
figured.
horse.
Well, based on their mass and how far they knocked that
Right.
barrel there, you can figure out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That makes it your turn.
What's the name of the bounty hunter show?
Oh, shoot. I don't know.
Big Shot. Love
Okay,
them.
okay. I was too busy looking at the animated midriff.
No, yeah. Big crush on that gal.
Sure. Do we see that show a lot? We'll talk about
Yeah.
that a little later. Okay, cool. My other question for you, really, really easy. What is the full breed of the Data Dog?
Ooh, it's a Welsh Corgi. On an animal theme with yours, Zach. Who's the furry now, bitch?
No way. That is quite attractive corgi, though.
Right? That butt?
Oh my god.
Those eyes?
I would pat it.
What's the fortune-telling bird's name?
Oh, no. I don't know.
Pico.
Pico. Yep.
He'll take a
Didn't know
peek
it.
of your future.
I like the part when it's like, oh, I'm noticing that the people you're looking for are here right now. They're behind you.
That was
That
great.
was funny. Mm-hmm. Now it's your turn to do a segue.
Oh, well, next up is quickly becoming one of my favorite parts of this
God,
quickly
damn it,
becoming one of
Steven.
my favorite parts of this process.
Yeah, run it again.
We're going to find out if anime newbie Zaki Poo over there,
And newbie.
OJ Ananobi, he plays for the...
I'll be a
Toronto
full-fledged
Raptors.
weeb by episode 5.
Oh, God. Arigato!
You're gonna
just wait till Zach
this
starts
won't
slipping
play in
in.
audio, but you're gonna start seeing me be like doing the peace sign.
That'd be my dream. That would be my new phone lock screen. Move over, Danny. Zach doing
Well earned.
a J schoolgirl
Yes.
peace sign.
Yep.
That's what I need. But we're going to find out if Zach comprehend the episode this week. How you feeling, Zach?
I learned from the first one that I'm not used to putting things succinctly.
Yeah. The amount of editing you have to do on this podcast
Yeah.
to get the episode in order, good grief.
I'm used to having a good 3 or 4 minutes to make one single point. You know.
Yes.
So only having 20 seconds does make it a challenge. Mm-hmm. Let me take a sip of water, get my wits about me.
Yeah. As previously
All right.
discussed, you'll be going on go.
Okay, sure.
Okay, 3,
Okay.
2,
Wait.
1,
Okay.
go.
This week, the bounty we're after is Hakim, a dangerous man with a mysterious package that ends up in the hands of a bystander. That gets the package in the hands of Spike, which ends up being a data dog that everyone starts chasing after, which leads to Hakim dramatically getting himself arrested in public.
Wow.
And the dog in
okay.
Spike's hands, I guess. Okay.
I'm going to stop you there because you
Yeah,
said that was a
sure,
stopping
sure.
point. In 18 seconds, you completed the episode.
Okay.
Here's what I'll say. You
I
got
could have done.
all
I
the
could have
major
added
points.
a lot more.
You did great.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything about the face surgery,
You're right. Yeah.
Hakeem.
Good point.
but here's what I'll say, Zach.
I did mean to make a blackface joke in there, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's okay. You got through everything. You had names, you had dates, you had receipts. I didn't get anything about the kid trying to sell the dog to the pet shop.
Yeah.
That was kind of a little side thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an A.
Wow. Wow.
An
Flying
A.
colors.
2 seconds early, I gave you an A.
I'm learning.
Now,
that
I
I'm
do give an
way
A plus
better
on
at
my
this
scale.
than Steven is. You do give an A plus. Okay.
I do have
Well,
A plus
good
on
to
my
know.
scale.
I don't. I don't believe in pluses. Pluses are
Yeah.
just bullshit.
Just minuses?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I don't know why. It's because the TV review website, the AV Club, A is their highest grade. They do minuses and like B pluses and C pluses,
Sure.
but A is the highest grade. A
Interesting.
plus they've only given out a couple of times when something is like one of the best things ever.
So it does
which just
exist,
doesn't
then.
happen. But like 2 or 3 times out of 10,000 reviews or more.
What was it, Ozymandias of Breaking Bad?
I think maybe it was an episode of Breaking Bad. I think
Mm-hmm.
an episode of like Curb Your Enthusiasm, but that's neither
Nice.
hither nor thither.
Welcome to Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm Steven.
And
And
burped. I hope
Don't-
they pick that up. So what do you think about the second episode? I quite enjoy this one. It's a similar one episode thing, but it does add a new member of the group. I think this villain is a little bit more interesting.
yeah.
He's really imposing and like kind of crazy, and not just in like the drugged way that Asimov.
Yeah.
Not in like
Whoa.
the drugged up way that he was. I like the scene when he's intimidating the guy at the bar and makes him like drink a cockroach. He's got this kind of like, again, not drugged up, but like Tuco from Breaking Bad kind of
Yeah.
thing. That like, what's this guy gonna do? I didn't mention it, but I do like the whole like he changes his face, which makes it hard to chase after him. I like that this episode continues my theory that they're not good at being bounty hunters because again, they don't really do anything. They just end up being there when stuff happens. I think you give a character a dog, it endears the character tenfold. So I think they do good stuff with Spike in this one. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think this is a really fun episode. The music is fun. It's a little less like jazzy at times and a little more kind of bouncy.
Well, the first episode had a lot of, I kept saying it reminded me of the interstitial music on South Park. And it's just like a little guitar thing going on. This episode had more of the music I was expecting out of the show.
Yeah.
And there was a song in particular that kind of bopped. Like
Yeah,
or,
the one
like,
with the singing.
probably, yeah. If there was just
Yeah, that
one,
one was
then
fun.
that would have been it. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. I like it because this show truly is like a space western, which I think is part of the reason why it feels so much like The Mandalorian, other than the episode structure. But they do an awesome job with like setting up Hakeem as he's a bad guy. You can see how tough and scary he is.
Yeah.
And the juxtaposition of him and this tiny little dog is
Yeah.
really funny to me because he's like a giant guy. Like he's got to be like, I don't know, 7 feet tall or some shit like that.
Yeah,
He's a big
the
dude.
shot when he's holding the cup and making the dude drink the cockroach.
Yeah, he's
got
huge.
these massive hands.
Yeah. Like, he's a giant guy. It's great. Like, I'm sure he was probably modeled after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in The Last Dragon. Because, especially because there's a Last Dragon reference.
You know what else I didn't mention in the thing? I didn't mention the lab people.
No. Yeah.
Did you bring that up already?
No.
You didn't say that. Yeah, I didn't mention
didn't.
that. Which is a factor of this episode that I quite liked. I thought the lab people were funny, too.
Yeah.
There's the one scene where he keeps saying over and over again, he's like, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Something like that. I forget exactly what he said, but they had some funny moments.
Yeah. I think this is a good episode. I think it's super fun. I liked we get a little bit more Jet in this episode.
Did we?
A little bit.
Where?
He was playing with the dog.
Yeah, but again, I feel like it was about the same as if anything, the last one had at least a scene or two where he was outside of the ship, like involved with the action.
That's
kind
true.
Of. He was like on ground.
So I guess we don't get
this
more
time,
Jet in this episode.
Yeah, he's
I
just
lied.
kind of like the guy who lives on the ship so far. As I know you say he's the captain, I'm sure he's a badass and gets way more involved. But
Yeah.
so far, he just kind of seems like a guy who hangs out on the ship. And
It's true. They do start him slowly.
in this episode, there's like a doc that's introduced, and he's the one that gives the mission. Like, my impression off the first episode was the Jet was the one that like hands out the
Well,
missions,
so the
but
doc
also
is not
there's
a
TV
continuing
show.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, they get their bounty. So there's the
doc is just this guy that was fucked over by the bad guy.
Exactly.
And
The TV show
contacted.
is around though a lot. They post bounties and give news on bounties.
That's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
This world is interesting. So like bounty hunters are just all over the place.
Yeah,
And
because
are
people are running
encouraged.
all throughout space.
It's
yeah,
not
it's
like
encouraged, legal.
At least in the Star Wars universe, I feel like bounty hunters are still like scoundrels. They're still like between the
More
law,
like
kind of.
mercenaries. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to bring up a little bit ago on this one, and just the show in general, when you were talking about this also being a space western, I love that the show, it still feels pretty rooted in the real world in some ways when comparing it directly to something like The Mandalorian. At least so far, there haven't been any like Gugas or like, you know what I mean? Like there's a scene here
Yeah.
where they're having a wedding and it looks like a regular wedding. There's
Yeah.
a pet shop and it's regular animals. It does feel rooted in our reality, but like the space travel and inhabiting other planets has moved forward.
Yeah, it's cool. I think that for the most part, the show is pretty grounded. There's a couple of elements at times that make it a little bit less, but I think that it kind of just...
Are there
I don't-
Gugas? Am I going to have to watch Gugas?
There's not quite a Guga, but there
Okay.
might be a little bit of a Slim Bob's happening.
What does that mean? There are like alien creatures,
No, there's no aliens.
but there's like monsters.
No, not really. There's
Interesting.
a couple of mystical seeming things.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this concept of a data dog. They keep it pretty vague. It kind of confused me
Yeah.
of what exactly this dog was. And it seemed like the lab people were under the impression that Hakeem didn't exactly know what he had.
Yeah.
So what did he think he had? Did he think he was going
I
to
think he just thought he had some sort of valuable dog that
Yeah.
he could sell for a lot of money.
It's a really funny visual and sad, but the way that they keep the dog in a briefcase.
In
and
a
it's like
fucking
this thin little
briefcase.
briefcase. And they open it and he's like, woof. And he's just this happy little corgi. And I do like that reveal that I knew kind of because
Yeah.
Lily really likes Ein. And I kind of knew that this was going to be the episode where it was introduced. Is it he or she?
Ein
Doesn't matter.
is a boy dog.
Okay. I knew that
I think.
he would probably show up. So I kind of knew immediately that that's what was in the briefcase. But it's a funny bit if you don't know. You
Yeah.
expect it to be like a Pulp Fiction briefcase, like drugs or money or weapons or something, but it's a dog.
It's
But
a dog.
as
yeah.
far as the data dog thing, is that something that they go further into later?
They explain a little bit more about Ein and how he
'Cause
works.
Even in this episode on the Bounty Hunter show, which I guess we can talk about next, at one point they're like, what's a data dog? And he's like, I can't tell you that shit. See you next week.
Yeah, so basically you see some little glimpses about Ein being kind of smart in this episode, like when he like jumps to stop Spike from falling, or when he like holds his breath so he doesn't get knocked out by the gas.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And they do a good job of doing stuff like that without me thinking that he's like a super dog. He still seems like a dog.
Yeah.
100%
mongrel.
So this show, it really is interesting to me that there's this like howdy doody Americanized show about who everybody can go kill this week and how much they'll get off of it. That's just funny to me.
It's great.
Is that something that's like an every episode thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did they do it in the live action one, and is it bad?
Yes.
I'm already excited.
I laughed when I saw it in the live action because I think it's supposed to be funny, and seeing it in real life was funny. Let's see. So basically, they hand Hakeem to the cops. Now that's interesting, Zach, because you'll start to see that there is a relationship between bounty hunters and the police.
Okay.
It's not necessarily symbiotic, because the police want to be the ones to get the bad guys, not the bounty hunters, because they don't want to.
But they're not like against the bounty hunter.
Because the bounty hunters are doing their job. So even if they like indirectly deliver them to the police, they don't get any money from it.
Okay, sure.
But we can attest that they're still kind of struggling for money because Spike just wants some duck.
Yeah, they think that they take this because this one was a pretty big loot.
Yeah,
Wasn't it
I don't remember
7
exactly.
million or something like that
Probably.
this time. And they're super broke because they're shitty bounty hunters and never did anything.
Yeah.
They don't in this one either. They're broke, so they take this off. I like the scene. Hakeem is at like this. Is he like at a bar in the first scene? There's a lot of like things open in a bar. The bad guy struts into a bar, and that's when his package gets taken by this dude.
By the kid.
Is he a kid? Is he really? Young?
He's a young street rat.
While he's like intimidating some guy who was just like, "Hey, what's up?" at the bar.
Yeah.
He was like, "What? You don't want to talk to me?" And then he's slamming her, like no reason for that.
I know. He's like, "Oh, sorry for
him."
bumping into you." He's like, "Hey, I said sorry."
And the kid takes the package and takes it to a pet store. We should talk about the pet store. I think the pet store owner is really funny because she's got a turtle on her head the whole time. And they find out that the dog, when they open the case, so like the lady doesn't know that this is like this secret high-tech dog, so they're only going to give over like a couple bucks for it. Like $100 or something, right?
Like $2.
So well, not even, because 7 million is like 700,000 or whatever.
Well, so they're saying
would be
they
like
already did the conversion in the dub. In the sub, they're saying like 200 of them, but then they cut it down to 2, so she gave them $2.
Which is pretty shitty because it's just a dog.
Yeah, it's just a dog.
So what happens from there? Hakeem shows up and shoots a gun in the place. No, Spike.
Well, Spike shows up and is like, "Oh, it's just a dog. You're not Hakeem. I'm out of here." And then
that was a pretty cool scene. I liked some of the animation moments I liked in this one. I liked the fish in the fish tank. And then when the kid and Spike like see each other through the fish tank was a cool moment. And
totally.
Yeah, Spike thinks it's Hakeem and chases after him and ends up not being.
Yeah, and then Hakeem shows up and he's like, "Give me the dog." The dog like jumps at him and he accidentally shoots his gun, so all the animals start stampeding. And that's when Hakeem's chasing the dog, Spike sees it and is chasing them, and then we get the first encounter between Spike and Hakeem, where they have some hand-to-hand combat on the bridge.
Which was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that fight scene a lot. I wish it were longer.
Sure.
But then Ein, being the smart little pupper he is, jumps from the bridge to a trash truck boat thing, and then when the guys jump after him, he then jumps and hits Spike so that they avoid Hakeem and can escape in the water. And that's kind of the first meeting between the two of them.
And that's how Spike ends up with Ein, taking him back to the ship. And I really think all the moments on the ship with the dog are endearing when they put the collar
really
on him.
Cute.
And I don't know, Spike has this, I don't like dogs, I don't like pets, but you know his heart, it's kind of a Baby Yoda kind of thing.
Yeah, it's cute.
To keep the Mandalorian thorough line going through. You need to watch more of The Mandalorian. It was good.
I know, I need to see the second season.
I like this episode a lot more, but I do still kind of feel like there's not a ton of intrigue of like what's going to happen next.
Sure.
It feels very episodic. I have a question. So Hakeem doesn't die. He gets arrested. Does he come back?
Nope.
Because I think he's an interesting character. That's kind of lame.
So here's the thing, Zach.
Scary
Every episode
badass is another new villain. Is there no like overarching villain to the series?
There is.
Okay.
You meet him episode 5.
I'm excited. I think I'm excited for that because I don't mind.
Well, and
the
I think you're
episodic
gonna like
stuff,
the
but there has to
2-part
be- I like
episodes a
story
lot
arcs.
more.
Sure. Is the next
Too.
one that we'll do first half of? Are we?
No,
when does that happen?
episode 12 and 13, and then the last 2.
Okay.
But there's some sprinkles of that storyline throughout it. Once you start to learn more about some of the characters' pasts, then there's some more overarching things. But for the most part, their bounties are always going to be changing.
Yeah, I think I'm to the point where I'm ready for the group to be together and for like everyone to be working on a thing.
Well,
I
we
like that it
get
takes its time, but...
one Faye Valentine's introduction
Nice.
next episode. So
and that's the hot big titty anime girl, right?
yeah,
That you are so upset about the live action version.
I think
Because
that
she's not as
the
big
casting
titty.
was fine. Her performance, she just tried too hard to be
Yeah.
funny and like be like sassy, I guess.
Well, the couple of clips that I've seen from the live action one make it up to be really, really cartoony and over the top.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some of it in the anime, but so far it's not even like that. It's
No.
pretty
the lines
slow
that
and
are
grounded.
cool in the anime do not come off as cool in live action.
I guess I could see that.
But that's always the case. I think that my main issue with the live action so far
Mm-hmm.
is just that they change the story unnecessarily. You have to adjust some things so
Well,
that,
I think
because you
they
have
were
less
under
episodes.
the impression that they were long-term going to be able to do
Yeah.
more episodes of the live action than there were of the animated.
Sure.
So I think they probably want to pick and choose and kind of set things up.
Yeah,
Nah, that didn't happen.
did not.
I'm excited. It'll be fun to take that apart as like a failure and to see how we both feel about it. Does the anime have like a decisive ending?
Yes.
It does have like a decisive ending.
Yes.
Interesting. Is there a manga? Did the manga come first?
Manga came after.
Interesting. That's not usually the case, right?
No, it's not. Sometimes with like TV first things like this, that like happens, they like make a manga afterwards just for like money purposes.
Yeah.
I haven't read it, but I would like to. The manga is pretty short though. It's only like 3 volumes.
Do you have any favorite moments from this episode as far as the action and music are concerned?
I
Any things
do.
that really
I
stand out?
also love the song with the lyrics in it. The lyrics are in English too, which is fun.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But it's like a super high energy, like it's the Chase song. I think
And
that.
you say that it's all the same band. This is all the same
Yeah,
artist.
the seatbelts.
And
They're
they
great.
do all of the in-between filler music.
Yeah, harmonica stuff, the guitars.
They do like the score along with like the songs that appear.
Exactly.
It's interesting because the music is fairly diverse so far.
It is. It's all
Yeah.
over the place. They're super talented. They're a huge band. They have a lot of members.
Yeah.
All instrumentalists mostly. They have some singers that like come on and work with them. But it was all composed by, I can't remember the woman's name, but she composed all the music that Seatbelts play for the show. It's awesome. So cool. She's like a genius.
What about the action? This is a cool episode as far as the action's concerned. I like that it's more hand-to-hand combat and not as much gunshot type
Yeah.
stuff. It was a cool variety.
The fight on the bridge is really cool with Hakeem. I also think that the whole scene where he crushes the cockroach and makes the guy drink it is really,
I
really,
wish
really well
they would
animated.
have shown him make him do it. They cut
Yeah.
away while he's drinking it, and that would have been gross, but it would have been
been
eerie
hardcore,
visual. I
yeah.
would have liked to have seen it.
Same.
Yeah.
I also really like in this episode, I think the whole pet shop scene is really funny, and like that moment like you were
And that
talking
the
about
kid
where he
gets
like
away,
sees him
but
through
not
the thing.
really, because in the end he's stuck working at the pet shop. That was
Yeah.
funny.
And that's his punishment.
Is that what are the news like talking about how he got away and they don't know where this kid is, and the lady's like, well, I don't think they're gonna find you. I'm working your butt off. Is that what happens?
I thought she said that she doesn't think they'll find the dog or something
Oh,
like that.
okay. I still thought it was funny that the kid
It's
ended
funny
up
though.
stuck there.
But yeah, I think it's a really good episode. I think that this is more the norm, I'd say, of the show than the first episode, even though they are similar. But the light feeling of this is a little more frequent. There is a lot of drama in the show too, like as it goes on, and there's some like darker, heavier episodes, but it's fun so far.
I did like the tone of this one just a little bit better, I do think.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I didn't like the first episode.
Yeah.
And I still am kind of on the outside looking in because I'm waiting for the thing that's like, oh shit, what just happened? Or like, what's gonna happen? I want that. I'm still looking for that.
Yeah.
I'm not straining to enjoy it, but I do think if I wasn't watching this for a project, I'd be a little concerned that it's not for me. So I really, really am excited and
Yeah.
looking for that thing. Because I think it'll probably happen. But I'm really excited for something to like...
My general rule for anime is to
Yeah.
give it 3 episodes before you make any thoughts or judgments. with this one being
With TV,
one of
I
your
like
first.
to go 4 episodes. So
Well, I was gonna say
I'm
this show,
comfortable with.
I'd say the first 5. If you are hooked, you'll be hooked. If you're you'll probably stay for the most part. So I'm excited to see where we're at.
And I'm committed to doing this show, even if I end up not liking it that much. I don't
That'll
think
be interesting too.
that's
yeah.
not a fun way to talk about things, because on Community, there's a lot of like, I like this, and yes, I like this too. So it is fun to. I feel completely out of my element talking about this because
It's great.
I'm in no way able to drive this train in the way I usually take over. So this is cool for me.
It's fun. I like it.
Well, let's talk about who's the captain of the Boop Borps this week.
All right. This week, my captain of the Bebop is actually going to go to the... No, I'm just saying. I'm not going to give it to the cockroach. I'm going to give it to Hakeem. I think Hakeem's a really cool character.
Yeah,
He's dope.
I agree.
Hakeem's the captain of my ship. He never really... he grabbed the dog by the throat a little bit, but I didn't like it.
He tried to put the dog to sleep.
He put
There's
him
a
to
lot of
sleep like a
animal
nap.
abuse going on. But he is a badass villain. So
Yeah, no, he's a
it's
bad
not
guy, but
because
he's
a
cool.
good guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've got to stay silly with mine and give it to the lady who runs the pet shop.
Nice. Good choice.
I really like how when Hakeem shows up with a gun, she's just kind of like, not again, instead of being like, oh my god, we're gonna die.
Yeah. Well, because she knows nobody's there to hurt her. She's just
Yeah.
like, fuck, in my place every time.
I like how she barters over the dog. I like how she uses the kid for free labor at the end. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I like them. I do think this was a good episode, and I'm looking forward to next week when we talk about another one.
Me too. It's going to be a blast.
Well, before we wrap up, are there any last things that you want to say about this one, or things that I need to remember from this one? Like maybe something I would have missed, or you think we about got it covered?
This one didn't have too many like foreshadowing moments. I would say just be excited that Ein is here and be ready to learn more. And we get Faye next week.
I'm excited. And it looked like there was some kind of a casino type thing going on next week.
The design of that casino, I think, is so cool.
That's interesting. I'm looking forward to that. I imagine we'll meet another villain next week. That'll be fun.
I think that, there's some really, really cool fight in the latter half of this episode and some cool stuff in like the middle part that I think we're really going to enjoy.
Well, this is great. Thanks for coming on this journey with us, guys. We'll be back next week to talk about episode 3. Steven, why don't you send us home?
See ya, Space Corgi.
Nice. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Support this show and our podcast network at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast, where starting at $5 a month, you can get immediate access to all 40 outrageous sessions of Brokeback Bebop. See you next time, Space Cowboy.